Yo, what is up, everybody? Make sure I have everything set up correctly. And what's up? How's everybody doing? May the 4th be with you guys. Just realized it's May the 4th. Uh, Not a big Star Wars fan, but I did enjoy The Mandalorian. What is everybody up to? We got Nasty, Kitchen Cowboy. What is up, Mike? Jason Johnson, Unkmeister Tech. A Sunday show. Freyon, Leon, and Victor. What is up? We're gonna see how this goes. If it does well enough, we'll keep it consistent, right? I've tried to do it a few weeks in a row. We'll see how it goes. And if you guys enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. It's a lot easier to get to the questions here versus like the night's show or the podcast on Tuesday. So this is where you can chat here. Why was your week long, Mike? Last week I had personally I had a system that I just don't want to do. I'm pretty sure I've already talked about it, but carrier unit. They had a duct issue, which I thought they took care of, and they didn't. And this was during a time that they were calling other companies, right? So I yeah, I they were calling other companies, so I always assumed, hey, if we don't get the bid, somebody else will get it if I don't hear back. Or honestly, after a while, I was just so tired of them giving other people our work because I would recommend motors and compressors and thing after, just quote after quote, quote after quote, and then I would go back. And guess what? They had a new compressor. They had a new fan motor. I'm like, okay, I didn't do that. So I was like, screw these guys, right? But yeah, that duct job, I didn't actually want it. But I told them, your, was it the, I think the supply is the one that broke, like busted first. So then, so then, I was like, hey, your supply is gone, right? So if you guys don't fix it, you're just conditioning the attic. You're not going to get any cold air or very little. You actually felt a little bit. And didn't hear back. I thought they took care of it. Going to another maintenance, and the blower wheel fell apart. Probably just because it rusted out from it getting from it not. When you have a issue with airflow, your blower is messed up. Your filters are plugged up. Your duct, you got leakage or major issues there. Then it's gonna cause a lot of condensation. It's gonna be cold in that blower area, right? Because it's just constantly getting colder and colder because it has nowhere to go to. It's not, blowing it down. It's not picking up heat, all that kind of stuff. So I went there and I was like, okay, blower wheel, we'll fix that. I look down, now the return has fallen apart. So yeah, they're like, no, can you take care of it? So now I got my guys helping me out on that one. It's just one thing after another. It's like the wheel or the belt broke. Figured out it was a wheel. Shaft wouldn't come off of that one. Replaced all of that stuff. Bearings were gone to hell. And then now we got the duct. But we're getting the calls, so I'm not going to complain too much. I think we're going to have to do that when they're closed because it is. The only issue I have is it's right above where they make the food. And at that point, we can't do it before they open or during the day at all, and they're open super late. So It's gonna be like a either way early in the morning hours or it's gonna be overnight. What's up, Jason? Caskill, what is up? Favorite movie quote: "Cats and dogs living together." You know, end of the world stuff. I love Ghostbusters. Um, Lots of calls doing rescue missions. Ooh, new tech who claimed to know his stuff really doesn't. He was on a walking cooler for 8 hours, and then Mike goes in there in 15 minutes and gets it knocked out. So we've dealt with that too. Uh, Actually, we would take on people to train that were family members, and then they would try and go somewhere else, and they would say they know, oh, they know all the refrigeration, they know all the HVAC because they worked for us for a couple of months, right? And then they're the kind of technicians. I don't want to bash anybody, but they would be like on the phone. That was a complaint that we heard. Hey, your so and so came to work for us. He's just on the phone the whole time, right? He's calling his buddy, which was a guy that I used to call too. He he's calling his buddy because he needs to be walked through the call, right? So I mean, that's one way to learn if you get into it when you're older, because you're like when you're fresh out of school, you kind of know something. You go with somebody trains you, all that. Like we tried training a couple of guys in the past, and then they go somewhere else, and they're still learning on the job. Like they can do it mechanically, right? Like they can do the tools and everything, and they're hard workers. I'll give them that, but they're gonna be glued to the phone because they don't know how to diagnose. Which again, I don't want to. It's not a bad thing. Some people get through it like that, but if you rely on that, if you use that phone as a crutch, that becomes a problem. You got to learn it eventually. All right, Kitchen Cowboy, have a 6 a.m. flight for a training class. Good on you, man. Good luck with that. They're getting better, but sometimes it's rough. Mike, it makes me look good, but the company looks bad. Oh, yeah. That's always my worst fear is sending out our guys and they get stuck, or I get really annoyed when we get call when they get callbacks. Call back, call back. I'm like, okay, you need my help. Let me go out there. And it's something as simple as like adjusting the TXV or changing out a small part. Something that I usually do in my like basics, and that's the hardest part is to, and it's usually with older techs. It's always harder to teach an old dog new tricks, right? So that was always my thing is, and that is just from HVAC being, or it used to be so forgiving, and it still kind of is, right? You dump in some charge, you make sure your line is sweating, beer can cold, it'll kind of work. It's a little harder now. It was much easier with like R22 and other older equipment when it was all mechanical and all that kind of stuff. So like it's just different. So my basics is usually what I tell people, like check for this, this, and this. And if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna be there anyway, just go ahead and check your superheat at minimum your superheat. Keep an eye on the if it's refrigeration, keep an eye on the sight glass, keep an eye on the suction line. Check your. I usually check superheat at the evap and at the condenser, just because I like to double check and just make sure everything's running good. What is up, Steve? How's the cleanup from the tornado? first of all, and how's work? That new position. Better than a sales tech. I mean, honestly, you learn um, by getting thrown into the fire. So it's just, are you gonna sink or are you gonna swim? Stuck high pressure switch in a dual switch. The only thing I hate is bypassed pressure switches. So which is I had to get after a lot of guys for that would work for us. Like you, bypassing a pressure switch doesn't like fix what the problem was, right? You still have a problem. I used to see that a whole bunch, and that just reminds me. Funny enough, dual pressure switches. It was when my brother had started with us. He was riding along. He had just finished school. He had been with us for a couple years probably, and I was still like showing him a few things because we've had a lot of different customers over the years, and sometimes I see something like sometimes we'll see like rack systems. I don't see that anymore. Sometimes we dealt with a lot of like make line and prep coolers, like true equipment. I don't really see that anymore. So it was always like, something we had to learn. We went into a supply house and it was a guy, which like, I appreciate really good guys, good counter guys. And it could be a man, a woman, whatever. Like, as long as you know what the hell I'm talking about, get me what I need and I can be on my way. Like, that is the only thing that I need. Now it's a little bit easier for me to, I mean, I can call somebody directly if I need to, but I can also just go online and look up or do my research, which is an extra step for me now. Before I used to just send it to the supply house. They would look it up, they would look at the parts, they would do everything for you. And now I personally prefer to look up my own parts, look on their website, see what they got in stock, how long it's out, what stores have what. Is it in the distribution center? Can I get it this week or today, or is it going to be a something I have to order? So I go in there, and I hate when it's new guys. I hate when they change everything up. I like the older retired techs that work there. Amazing. Right now at my Johnstone, there's one guy, Steve. Some of the new guys are actually pretty good now. But if I have an issue or I'm a little bit confused on something, I go to Steve. Like, that's our guy at our Johnstone. And basically, I had seen a guy in there and he had these cowboy boots, super dressed up, button shirt. I believe he had a cowboy hat he had put down or set aside. I literally asked this guy like 5 times. I need a dual pressure switch, a mechanical dual pressure switch. I don't think there's really anything else. Kept bringing me the damn wrong part. And then at one point he brought me a like a low pressure switch. And I was like, where are they? I need to just get one off the shelf. And I had to go out there. And then he's like, oh, and I'm like, as basic as a dual pressure switch, mechanical one, wasn't any help. So needless to say, he didn't last long. But um, it's just that reminded me of that. Me and my brother looked at each other like, is he for real? Like a dual pressure switch, mechanical, and it's usually like we usually get the pen, branded one. So it's like, do you really only carry one? People can be taught and learn from mistakes. We all have screwed up before, more than once. Just don't repeat the mistakes and only make new ones. Perfectly put. I always tell people, we all do that. I've made mistakes, you still make mistakes because you're always going to see something you've never worked on or something new, whatever it is. And if you're new, you've never seen any of this stuff. So you're going to make a mistake or you're not going to know. It's the constant because I've had it different ways as far as like seeing guys come in, at least in our company. Like if you're gonna do the same mistake over and over, that's gonna irritate me more than like the first time. Obviously, if we're super busy and backed up, everything's gonna irritate me. Even when I screw up, I get so mad at myself. But it is what it is. You if you mess up, and I know somebody put it, this way, like you're called out there because it's not working. If you mess up along the way, which I've done too, I've messed up. Uh, my brazing, I burned. I made it worse when I'm trying to braise something in. I've toasted. The first time I went to replace, I think I was replacing a dryer that had a sight glass right next to it, like in line. So I was like, oh, whatever, right? Cut it out. Gonna put a new dryer, gonna put a new sight glass in there. No issue. I don't even think I probably didn't have any like heat block putty at that time. I don't even know if we had rags because it was in a weird location that was very far from the building. Like you had to go through the building, but then go up, and then like it's always I always have the luck that it's the furthest unit from the roof hatch or anything else. So needless to say, I'm trying to put this dryer sight glass combination in there, right? It's all brazed, has to be brazed in. I didn't know you could burn up a sight glass. So I melted that thing. I tried to pressure test it. It leaked out like really bad. And then I was like, screw it. I mean, you can't, like I said, like I get frustrated with myself even when I screw up. And this wasn't like my first couple of years in. This was like halfway in, like a few years in. It wasn't that long ago. So I screwed that up because I never had to do a sight glass like that, like right on the dryer. So that was new to me, and replacing it and all that. Usually they're a little bit at least further down the line. And yeah, I burned it up. So in that example, like, what are you gonna do? You're like, I got upset, but like, are you gonna stop? Are you gonna complain or And I'm not gonna go get another sight glass because I'm out a little bit far from the supply house. I believe that took me, or it was the end of the day or something like that, because it was already like either right at 5 or like after hours. It was something where I was not gonna make it to a supply house to get another sight glass and for a sight glass. And yeah, just okay, well, that's screwed. So let's cut it out again, run the line just straight to the dryer and get it going, because what else are you going to do? You can't sit there and cry about it. So we all screw up, and as long as you don't make the same mistake again, I learned my lesson on that sight glass. And also, what I was going to say is, like, people have said if you get there, they've already called you because it's broken. If you make it worse, it's still broken. You're going to be able to fix it. And I always tell people, like, we can fix it. If I have a new guy with me and you screw up, I can fix your problem. You mess up the braze, you can't get it to seal, you can't figure something out, or you don't know how to check it. I can step in and fix it. So it's not a big deal. What is up, Addy? Jose Cornell, what is up? A lot of traveling, all good. That's awesome. Putting in an adjustable high pressure switch on a swivel tee. Swivel tees are your best friend. I love those things. Believe it or not, working in a prison will help new technicians. Oh, I love this. The hard part is working with inmates. What's your input on hiring techs and how do you do it? Give us some insight on the prison. My dad used to work. Well, he worked at basically our competitor now, right? He came or he opened up his own business. The place that he left, that he was the manager, the super tech, basically, he was like technician of the year and everything. They used to do prisons. So he would, that was before I was old enough to work. So he would just tell me the stories about that. And he was the only guy that could go out there and wouldn't get, I don't know, like picked on or anything like that. Wouldn't there would be no issue with my dad. He got along with the inmates. He got along with anybody in the kitchen because all he did was kitchen work, and everybody loved him. So, uh, but I can, if you can work in from what I've heard, if you can work in a prison, that is, that will definitely test you. Hiring techs. So every company is different. I don't know if you have a specific question, but we're gonna hire like younger people. So I already got two guys that have been working with us for like a week. Well, one has been working like a month or so, and the other one a week. Um, and as long as they try, as long as they, just move, don't stop for anything. The only thing that you need to stop for is to ask a question on how to do the next step. So for me, as long as you're doing something, that whole thing, I think even like Tito vlogs, if any of you remember Tito, HVACR vlogger, I think one of his quotes was always like, don't like, I'm pretty sure it was in Spanish, but he always said his dad told him, don't keep your hands in your pockets. I grew up like that too. Like, don't just do nothing. And when I started with my dad, he was like, don't do nothing, do something. I don't care if it gets slow. If you finish early, find something else to do. Because we used to work at like only a couple of locations when we started. So, like at the hospital, we would fix something and like we would stay there for the day just fixing like different things. It was only two of us. And he's like, I don't want to see you walking around with your hands in your pockets. I don't want to see you just on your phone or doing nothing. Like, do something. So, for me, as long as a technician is willing to learn, I can teach you, you can do it, and you're always doing something. And that could mean, like a new technician, that could mean getting the tools that we need, right? My brother was really good about that when he started, like getting the next tools that we need, going to the van and get them. Setting once he figured out what we were doing, like when we did vacuums and our startups and all that, we need the we have the recovery, we're done with it, take it back, go get the vacuum or the nitrogen, whatever we needed on the site and start cleaning up. I mean, that's another one. I love when a new tech is just proactive, like whether it's the work that they're doing or if they're just helping, help us out, get what we need, get the next thing that we need and clean up, help us clean up. So we don't have to be there all day. Cause that's my main thing is like, let's just keep going so that we can finish and get out of here. Because, if we do, there's multiple people on a job site and you all are just standing around or, you all are doing the one thing, like you're all trying to help with the brazing or installing this or whatever it is. One of you could be getting, like I said, the next thing or picking up stuff or something, right? So that's always my thing. I like to be in and out. I like to work efficiently, and that's how I want like anybody that works with me to do it. So right now, like I said, we're hiring new guys, apprentices, so we can train them the way we would want to. My whole thing is at least the ones that we have right now, I might want to keep, but eventually I need help in the summer. So like getting people to train and allowing them to get, because I think the main thing here, or anywhere that I've heard, a lot of guys want to get into the trade and they don't get a chance because companies want experience. Now, in my experience, because we just had a couple of guys that wanted to come over and work for us, it's not easy as a small business, family business, to hire and afford like the really good techs. So I would love to have all these great techs, but even then, like they might have bad habits. I still gotta train them in in certain things. So I would like to get people to train. And if we can keep them, we can keep them. But if not, they can be, now they have a year experience or whatever to go apply somewhere else. And I would think that would be beneficial. Now, I've heard the downside to this, which is there's no way around it. You might train your competitor, right? Because then they might have their own business or whatever it is. But to me, I think there's enough work for everybody. And I don't think, especially like if it's a kid or somebody younger, that they're going to steal a whole chain of restaurants from us. Like that, we've already had like some good accounts locked down. So, I mean, I'm not too worried and I'm confident in the jobs that we do. Anyone, anyone bypass a condenser because they didn't want to clean it. If you don't clean them, they basically are bypassed. Yeah, superheat murders compressors. I had one. Well, just even on the airflow, because someone asked me about my last video, and I didn't like. I'm still gonna go back and like check on it. I couldn't do it all that day, but like why, if it was rusted out, why was it bad, or is it always bad? I was like, it wasn't. I don't think it was bad. Like it ohmed out fine. I would have ran it that way, but just from experience, the terminals once they get that rusted, they tend to leak or worse, pop, right? And the only reason that compressor was sweating like that was because before it had blower issues, which I've found a lot of airflow issues recently or, in the last few years because it'll run like that. They won't even notice. They won't call you in. That's why maintenance is so important. I'm finding all these things on maintenance. And at one point, their blower wheel got torn up. So we had to replace it, but it had already been running like that. So that compressor has already been flooded and, sweating like crazy and just, eventually it rusted out. So there was nothing, there was nothing else to it, at least on this trip. I just replaced the compressor because it was in bad shape. It was rusted already. So, um, but like that one and the one that I just worked on, like with the blower wheel or the duct issue, is that's going to screw up your superheat because you're flooding the compressor at that point. You can bypass only when you need it going, as long as you know it's not actually, you know, but do they check that? Because when a pressure switch is bypassed, I mean, I do it too to check it, right? You check your continuity, see if it's closing and opening when it's like if it's like the classic one is you go there and the system's been off and you check and you got, oh, I got like 200 psi standing pressure, but my unit is not working. Oh, the pressure switch is still tripped. Okay, it's stuck, right? I've gone behind other companies or other techs and they bypass the pressure switch and then like it's not working or whatever it is. And okay, I'm like, okay, you ohm it out and it's like, no, it's working. You fix whatever you need to fix, contact or whatever it is, and then you start it up, and I'm like, it's turning on and off with the pressure, and I have no idea why they bypassed it. Probably because it either tripped on a high head pressure or um, it had a leak or something, and they bypassed it. I mean, I've seen it like that too. Go for it, Unkmeister. Bad thumbs tonight. Can't work. Can't type. Hockey is hockey on today, or what are y'all talking about? I was trying to get the TV to work. It's game. I believe it's game 7 of the Warriors and Rockets. Trying to see who's gonna win that one. Unfortunately, companies hire people who just don't care. Yep. Which is why I don't ever hire anybody, because I always find something that I'm not too fond of. That I've ran into so many techs that I think are pretty good, and then like there's a bad habit they have. What is up, mechanical environments? I got your patch. I just put it on, and I'm working on a sticker wall. So I'll show that. I need to get all the other stickers I have in the office here. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how long ago this was. I'm watching with my daughter. Can you say what it do, baby boo? What's up, Flex Ortiz? I'm trying to read through all these sports comments. Hands in the pockets, the hips. We had those hips. Okay, I know I'm like super behind on the chat, but stay off the phone. I actually got in trouble for being on the phone when I first started, and so I think I was texting some. I'm a big texter. That's just me. I don't pick up and call. So when we're working, it was at IHOP. I'm never gonna do that again. I don't work. We don't work anymore for IHOP. So I used to work at the IHOPs all throughout the valley here, and a lot of the managers were just not like, they did not like their job. They did not like working there. They were just always moody. And unfortunately, that's how I started, is dealing with these kinds of managers, and just put a bad, it was like a not a bad experience, but like it was just a little off-putting. Like, so that's why I always dreaded talking to a manager, or dealing with them, because they were always at the IHOPs super horrible to talk to. It's just the way it is. So one of them called my dad, and they're like, "Hey, this kid here, because I was like 21, whatever, 22. This kid here won't get off his phone, and this and that, and they're just going off." And my dad was that was during a time where he didn't care either. He always shot back. Now it's more like, "All right, we'll take care of it. Thank you." More professional. And he told them, or yeah, well, they told my dad, and my dad was like, he's the owner, take it up with him. And if he is on his phone, he's probably looking up a part or talking to me and reporting back. So if you have an issue, take it up with him. And they didn't say anything. They didn't tell me anything. So he told me after the fact. And I it's just weird now, because that was early on when you shouldn't be on your phone. And like Mike says, like, stay off your phone, obviously, like for social media or personal stuff. But nowadays I feel weird. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm actually working, because I either have my job link app open, right, or Measure Quick, whatever I'm using now, checking something, or I'm looking up a part, trying to get a price, trying to track down something. And yeah, like it's just different now. Now it's like I'm not screwing around. I'm actually doing work, or I'm invoicing or quoting something on Jobber. If you guys want a free trial and discount, link down below. I had a helper. Oh, let me put that up. Had a helper, always told him that I wanted to know or him to know what I needed next before I even knew. Never go to the truck empty handed. Make that trip count. Definitely. Y'all talking about horse racing? Okay, well, Freon beat me to it. God Soldier 703. I want to get my journeyman license, but I've been some reason I'm afraid to fail the test. I've been doing VRV and mini splits for 5 years. I was only in the field for like 3 and I didn't do much. And I went to go take my test. But I have a totally different mindset. And maybe I'll get into it on this week's if he doesn't cancel on me. Gills, HVAC and censored. I'll be on that one, I believe. Yeah, the what is it? The 7th Wednesday night. See if he makes it. Maybe I'll get into that more there. But like, I have a different mindset. I was like, I'm gonna go take it to fail it, and then I know what I got myself into. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I know how much time I have. All that kind of stuff. Which is what Freon said. He's like, you're gonna know what you're getting into if you fail it first. So, but I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't care. I was realistic. I was like, I'm probably not gonna pass it right away. It's not an easy thing to do. But if you prep and you pass it right away or on the second one, great. It took me I think three different times to actually get that. So I mean, don't worry about it. Let's see what else we got. KML. I'm new. Have you done residential in your life? What is your experience? What about commercial made you love it more? Oh, that is something I could talk about all day. Um, so I didn't really get into residential at all, except for the experience. So, or like, I went to school. That counts as a year, I believe, for license. Like to go take my state license, I need 4 years. School counted as one, I believe, or 1.5, something like that. So the rest of that, I did have to go with a residential guy, but he was very like nonchalant about it. Like he wasn't super strict. He just had to see that I actually like because basically when you take your license, someone needs to sign off for you. Like, yeah, he's worked with me for 3 years, 4 years, and he's good to go. He knows his stuff. And then I think you have to provide at the time. I don't know if it's the same. You have to provide proof like of invoices or work that that person has done, and then sign off on it, submit it. I get it sent back. Like yes, you can go take your test, or like no, whatever. And so that was the only residential that I saw, but I didn't really do a lot. I didn't do anything crazy, and I wasn't consistently doing it because I was also working for my dad, trying to learn from um, an actual commercial refrigeration guy that I learned a lot from. So never really liked residential just because I don't like being in other people's homes. And at the time, I'd probably be better about it now, but at the time, I didn't like talking or dealing with customers. And then, like, if it was a difficult customer, forget it. So that was just never what I wanted to do. And I don't want to scare you off, but like attics, and that's all we see here, like stuff like that. I was like, I'd rather be on a rooftop, or I'd rather just be left alone doing my own job Not to say that they don't bother you still in commercial, you still have to deal with area managers and different kinds of management. When you're at a restaurant, you might be dealing with the cooks. If you do the work that I do, you're on the floor working on these coolers. Everybody's like stepping over you. There's different things about it. I'm fortunate now that we get to pick what we want to do. So for the most part, I like to work on like a little bit bigger equipment. I don't do a lot of like in the kitchen work too much anymore. So I mostly do walk-in boxes and RTUs now. It's just more comfortable for me. I got really comfortable with it. Not to say residential, like if you do it and you like it, I mean, it's a lot of what like capacitors, fan motors, blower motors, like that's the kind of stuff you work on. And then every now and then you get like duct issues or whatever. And then if you guys do install, I mean, that's a whole other thing. So they're both good. I really like the commercial side and not dealing with so many different people. I mean, like at my work, I deal with the same people weekly. I might see a different store manager when I go out there, but like I'm working for the person above them, right? So like the area manager, it's the same people every week. Which could be a bad thing or a good thing. Like if they're good to you, then don't worry about it. IHOP was a whole different thing. That owner was like I want to say it was Pakistan or something like that. And the dude was super rich and super stingy. So every invoice he fought. That one was not a good experience. Testo, I just sent in my Testo probes and temp clamp for to get fixed. Will they rip me off? I don't know. I don't think. Uh, if I'm being honest, I think Field Piece is the only one that charges a like I don't know why, but they charge a lot. I haven't heard anybody else being like that. Oh, this guy. Did you answer my comment? You were like, you that was you, right? You were like, am I the only one that can see them? Did you see the video? Do you work for Navac? What's up, Sam? I haven't even done a check on the price this weekend. I'm not buying it. Strict Jason to a point. Don't use fluff. Say what I have to. No negativity. It's about business. Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, at least from the people that have or that I've talked to, they just want to like they really want to get into it. They just haven't been able to. And it's funny because, like I said, there's been texts that I go behind or I run into, and they might not be doing it that great. And we hired somebody that came from like nursing. Didn't think he would actually do well. Not I mean not to be mean about it, but like I didn't know how he would transition, and he's actually been a really great technician. He's doing hot and cold, like the cooking equipment and the refrigeration, picking it up fine. Heatcraft intelligent test online. Hmm. Questions had nothing to do with the walk-ins. I'll have to look at that. um, it was a local residential guy. Um, yeah, so I guess you heard some of it. Like I had a year from school. I believe it was a year for school and 3 years out in the field. So I went with some other guy that did residential. I had to go with it's not super strict. Like they can just sign off if they want to, but obviously they're not gonna just sign away their name. So I went with him, just made sure I could do the work. He wasn't super strict about it. And then I think there's proof, like it has to be proof that I did actual work. Uh, I can't remember if it was like invoices they had to submit or there's some submission that you do that I collect, send out, and all that. I have a really bad memory, so that's just me. But yeah, there was a local residential guy, super cool, and I was simultaneously also working for my dad under a commercial refrigeration guy that was like a subcontractor for us because we still had work, like we had a lot of work when we started. So we had a guy that we used, and that's I learned more from that guy because that was the kind of work that I was going to be doing. The residential, I didn't really I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Just I needed him. I needed the experience. I needed to be with him on and off long enough to get it, signed away and everything, and that was it. Get out of residential. Uh, oh, this is what that comment was. I'm only 3 weeks into residential work. The hardest part is talking with customers. Anybody have any advice? That is the hardest part for me. But honestly, like be honest and explain everything that you can because when I started talking to people, I was like going over their head, right? I'm like, "Oh, I'm checking this, I'm doing that." Like I mean, condense it a little bit. Like I check this, this, and this. You have this problem, or we fix this problem. Whatever. You're all squared away. Any concerns, questions, and just kind of like be straight to the point. If you have a difficult customer, then obviously you call whoever, like a senior tech or the boss, whatever, and let them handle it because you do not want any arguments. You do not want any issues. So everybody in the comments is just like move to commercial. Um, and then it comes with time because I couldn't talk for anything when I started, and now I can sit there and talk, and then commercial has the same kind of there's similarities there because the other day I was talking to a manager at that place that had all the issues that I mentioned, the blower, the duct, all those. I think the fan motor gave out. So like um the lady that was super nice, she came down from Austin and she was now running that store, and she was like, I know how they can be. She's like, hopefully we can get it all approved, and I know their whole thing is budget money, and she just wanted to talk, right? So I was like, let me explain to you everything that's going on. I'll work with you. I'm going to talk to them, see what they can approve. We'll go one step at a time, just I don't know, just don't be in a rush, don't be rude, be respectful, and it works out. If it escalates anything bad, call somebody else to come in and take care of it. Oh yeah, man, I had pulled them up. I don't think I can log in anymore. This was like, man, I don't know, like from 2012. I think is when I took it. So 13 years. I was able to pull it up, but I remember, I don't forget those things. I got like yeah, I kept getting 60s. All you need is a 70 to pass. I think one time I had like a 65 or 68 and I was so pissed. And then when I passed it, I got like an 80 something, right? You get like a 60, a 68 and then like an 80 whatever, 85 and I was like, "Really?" Like I would have preferred the 70 the first couple of times, but it is what it is. Um, I'm pretty sure the first one was like a 60, and then the next one was like like one question off or something like 68 or something. And then I passed with an 80, so I'm good. McDonald's maintenance trying to help on a Scotsman. Hand them your tools and let them fix it. It's, yeah, the 8 hour thing. I hate doing that. It's like already. I think I have to do it next month already. The 8 hour continuous education. It is really. I think we talked about it on nights. It's really hard to lose your license. You just have to every year sit down for 8 hours, or I put it up on my phone while I'm like doing something else. What is up, your silly little jester? And Rooney, what's up? I forgot to say what's up. Oh man, pocket protector. Oh yeah, I remember those. Johnstone used to give those out back in the day. I had one. They would give you that and then the little screwdriver. So we are approaching an hour. I was trying to keep these short, but it is what it is. My daughter my daughter changed it. I got kids, I understand. We're approaching an hour. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Any other questions before we close this out? I don't want to keep you guys too long on a Sunday evening. I hope you guys are ready for the week. I just cleaned out my van. It's been real gloomy. How's the weather? I'm in South Texas. It got real gloomy for a couple of weeks, which is driving me nuts. I don't like it. Well, I do like it. I do like a break from the sun, but like trying to get like some review videos out. That guy that was in here earlier trying to defend those Navac gauges, trying to really get them in the sun. And and it's just been raining like on and off. We had a really bad thunderstorm the other week, but hopefully it's a nice week. Just cleaned out my van, getting ready for that, and ready for summer. It's gonna be a good one. TDLR has a YouTube channel. I watched their meeting one time, and some guy spoke to the board and begged them to reinstate his license. Like, how bad did he screw it up? Because even like if you don't do the renewal, it takes several years for you to not be able to get it back. So he must have done something else. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe out there. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.